Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's assembly. So this morning we're going to be looking at a little bit more at love and how we can be more loving people.
So to start off with, we're going to play a little game called Finish the Lyrics for some songs that talk about love in the songs. Finish the lyrics to this song. You are the only one I will ever love. Yeah, you, if it's not you, it's not anyone. The next one is Calon lan yn llawn daioni, te cachu na lili dlos. And then the last one is you are my universe.
To start off with, what is love? There's a popular verse that's used at weddings, and we've got a part of it now. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, and it is not proud. It is not rude, it's not self-seeking, and it is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Which brings us to the next question. How can we be more loving as people? So here are a few top tips, just 4 of them, at how we can be more loving. The first one is to serve. So learning to give our time and energy towards good causes not only makes the world a better place, but also gives us self-satisfaction and helps you develop into a more loving person. The second thing is to reflect on previous mistakes. Taking time to see how we may have responded in the past in the wrong way, so in an unloving way, can be really useful. We can learn from that experience and come up with a plan at how we can react better to that situation in the future, should it ever come up again. The third thing is to surround yourself with people that are loving. Love is infectious, so if you spend more time around people that show those loving qualities, that love themselves, they love others and you, then it's really hard not to be infected by that love and pass it on and become a more loving person yourself. And the fourth thing is to practice forgiveness. So even if there's someone that disrespects or insults us, we should be prepared to forgive. To be a more loving person, we need to let go of all the hate and anger that is in our lives. This not only applies to when we think about other people, but it also applies to ourselves as well, about our failures and previous mistakes that we talked about a little bit earlier. We should learn from them and then move on.
Following on from that last point about forgiveness, here is an incredible story about forgiveness and love by someone called Corrie ten Boom, who was taken into a concentration camp in World War II for hiding Jews in her home. This is her story in her own words. It was in a church in Munich where I was speaking in 1947 that I saw him. Memories of the concentration camp came back with a rush. Betsy, her sister, and I had been arrested for concealing Jews in our home during the Nazi occupation of Holland. This man had been a guard at Ravensbrück concentration camp where we were sent. It was the first time since my release that I'd been face to face with one of the captors, and my blood seemed to freeze. You mentioned Ravensbrück in your talk, he was saying. I was a guard there, but since that time, he went on, I have become a Christian. I know that God has forgiven me for the cruel things I did there, but I would like to hear it from your lips as well. Again the hand came out, will you forgive me? And I stood there and I could not. Betsy had died in that place. Could he erase her slow, terrible death simply for the asking? Could not have been for many seconds that he'd stood there, hand held out. But to me it seemed like hours as I wrestled with the most difficult thing I ever had to do. For I had to do it, I knew that. Still I stood there with coldness clutching my heart, but forgiveness is an act of the will. And so woodenly, mechanically, I thrust my hand into the one stretched out to me. And as I did that, incredible thing took place. The current started in my shoulder, raced down my arms, sprang into our joined hands. And then this healing warmth seemed to flood my whole being, bringing tears to my eyes. I forgive you, brother, I cried, with all of my heart. For a long moment we grasped each other's hands, the former guard, the former prisoner. I'd never known love so intensely as I did then.
And here's our word of the week to finish off this morning's assembly. And now these 3 things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.